Most men expect linear progress with retention. Day 10 better than day 5, day 30 better than day 10. Reality delivers waves instead. Days 5-7, energy surges. Days 12-20, flatline hits, zero drive. Days 25-35, aggression spikes, then crashes. The body doesn't move in straight lines. Expecting smooth gains during wave-based recovery creates unnecessary suffering. Understanding the actual timeline changes everything. The brain operates like a thermostat. When a man floods it with constant stimulation, whether from porn, frequent release, or other high dopamine behaviors, the system adjusts downward. Feel-good chemical receptors become less sensitive. More stimulation is needed to feel the same pleasure. This is downregulation, and it leaves many men feeling flat, unmotivated, and emotionally numb even when they're not actively indulging. When retention begins, the thermostat starts recalibrating. But the first month isn't a smooth climb upward. Here's what happens. The brain doesn't rewire overnight, it adapts in stages, each with distinct patterns. Week 1 hits hard. The body expects its regular hit and doesn't get it. This triggers withdrawal symptoms. A man might feel irritable, restless, or anxious. Motivation drops. Tasks that once felt manageable now seem overwhelming. The thinking brain functions less efficiently during this phase because it's been relying on those external spikes to stay engaged. Brain fog and mood swings are common during this initial adjustment. The key here is understanding what's happening. The body is recalibrating, not failing. He sits at his desk on day 5. A notification pops up, a message, a video thumbnail, anything could trigger it. The urge surges. His hand hovers over the mouse. Every muscle tenses. He feels the pull, that familiar itch in his chest. For 10 seconds, the craving peaks. He stands up, walks to the window, breathes. The moment passes. He sits back down. The urge fades. Small victory, but it counts. Week 2 brings the flatline. This is when emotional numbness sets in. Libido may vanish completely. Energy feels low. The brain's reward system is offline, recovering from years of overstimulation. Feel-good chemical receptors begin the slow process of becoming more sensitive, but they're not ready yet. During this phase, the body conserves resources. Receptor density changes require weeks to manifest, not days. Men often mistake this flatline for failure. It's not. It's the brain in repair mode. Weeks 3 and 4 mark subtle shifts. The fog begins to lift. Focus sharpens slightly. Tasks that felt impossible in week 1 become manageable again. The brain's reward pathways start responding to natural stimuli, a good workout, a meaningful conversation, sunlight. Receptors are beginning to sensitize. The early signs appear here. Energy doesn't spike dramatically, but baseline stability improves. A man notices he can concentrate for longer stretches. Morning motivation returns in small doses. This process isn't linear. Some men experience faster shifts, others take longer. Genetics, prior habits, and overall lifestyle all play a role. There's no universal clock. The mistake many make is expecting instant transformation. The first month is about surviving the adaptation, not celebrating superhuman benefits. Practical strategies matter here. Exercise accelerates receptor recovery by increasing baseline activity in the reward system. Meditation helps manage the irritability and cravings of week 1. Cold showers, social interaction, and sunlight exposure All provide natural hits without triggering the old patterns. The goal is to stabilize, not to white-knuckle through in isolation. By the end of week 4, the foundation is set. The brain has begun its recalibration. Receptors are more sensitive than they were at day 1. The next phase, weeks 5 through 12, is where sustained rewiring accelerates, where the early discomfort pays dividends in clarity, drive, and emotional depth. Early patterns mapped. Now navigate middle and advanced phases where real transformation either solidifies or unravels completely. The early withdrawal symptoms, the irritability, the flatline, the brain fog, those were the brain tearing down old patterns. From week 5 onward, it starts building new ones. This is where the system doesn't just stabilize, it strengthens. The receptors that became numb from years of overstimulation now regain their sensitivity. The brain begins responding to everyday rewards again. Weeks 5 through 8 mark the transition from survival to momentum. Receptors continue becoming more responsive to natural stimuli. The brain's reward system recalibrates. Tasks that once felt dull, a workout, a conversation, a project, start triggering genuine satisfaction. Motivation returns, not in bursts, but as a steady baseline. The thinking brain functions more efficiently. Focus sharpens. Decision-making improves. Energy levels stabilize without the spike crash cycles that define the first month. He's 6 weeks in. Morning arrives. No alarm needed. His eyes open naturally at 5:47 am. The usual grogginess is gone. He sits up, feet on the floor, and feels it. A low hum of energy in his chest. Not jittery, steady. He makes coffee, opens his laptop, and for the next 2 hours writes without distraction. No tab switching, no checking his phone. The cursor moves, words flow. By 8 am, he's done more than he used to accomplish in a full day. The difference isn't willpower, it's chemistry. Weeks 9 through 12 bring peak benefits. This is where the brain's ability to rewire itself operates at full capacity. By 3 months, structural changes become evident. Gray matter density increases in areas responsible for self-control and emotional regulation. The hormonal system also plays a role here. Testosterone levels, which fluctuate during the early weeks, begin to stabilize at higher baselines when the body isn't constantly cycling through release and recovery. This hormonal steadiness feeds back into regulation, creating a reinforcing loop. Drive intensifies. Clarity becomes the default state. Social interactions feel sharper. A man notices subtleties, micro-expressions, tone shifts, unspoken dynamics that he previously missed. Emotional depth returns. Music hits differently. Sunsets register. Small pleasures matter again. Beyond 12 weeks, the benefits don't plateau, they integrate. The brain has remodeled its pathways. The heightened sensitivity to natural rewards becomes the new normal. This doesn't mean the process is finished. Sustained practices maintain these changes. Slip back into old patterns, and the downregulation begins again. But for men who commit, the shifts persist. Energy remains elevated. Motivation stays consistent. The flatline of week 2 feels like a distant memory. A man stands in his living room 12 months later. His business partner just pitched an idea. 3 sentences in, he knows it's flawed, not the concept, but the execution timeline. A year ago, he would have nodded along, avoiding conflict. Now he pauses, thinks, responds with precision. The framework works, but we're underestimating the resource load. Let's map dependencies first. The room shifts. His partner leans forward. They spend the next hour rebuilding the plan. It launches 4 months later and exceeds projections by 40%. The clarity didn't come from one moment. It came from 365 days of consistent rewiring. Practical sustainability matters here. Tracking progress helps. Some men journal energy levels, noting patterns. Others use simple metrics, hours of focused work, quality of sleep, social confidence. The data reveals what works. Exercise accelerates recovery. Physical activity boosts receptor expression. Meditation supports emotional regulation during the transition phases. Cold exposure, sunlight, and meaningful social connection all provide natural hits that reinforce the new baseline. Misconceptions need addressing. This isn't a cure-all. Retention won't solve underlying psychological issues or replace therapy. Benefits vary individually. Genetics, prior habits, and lifestyle all influence outcomes. Some men experience rapid shifts, others take longer. The timeline outlined here reflects common patterns, not universal guarantees. And the changes aren't permanent without ongoing practice. The brain adapts to whatever input it receives. Consistency maintains the rewiring. Notice what happens over the full timeline. Week 1, withdrawal. Week 2, flatline. Weeks 3 and 4, subtle recovery. Weeks 5 through 8, momentum builds. Weeks 9 through 12, peak benefits emerge. Beyond, integration into daily life. The progression is clear. The early phase challenges those days when cravings peaked and motivation vanished. They weren't obstacles. They were the foundation. Every moment of discomfort was the brain recalibrating, preparing for sustained transformation. The men who persist through the flatline, who endure the withdrawal, who trust the process when results aren't immediate, they're the ones who experience the full spectrum of benefits. The reset isn't a sprint. It's a structured timeline rooted in brain science that rewards patience with lasting change. Early withdrawal paves the way for stable energy. Peak benefits transform that stability into sustained clarity and drive. This week, track one thing: morning energy levels from 1 to 10. Write it down daily. Notice patterns between your habits and your scores. Sleep quality, exercise timing, social interaction, all influence the reset. Drop your week 3 breakthrough in the comments. Hit like if this timeline matched your experience. Subscribe for weekly strategies on optimizing retention benefits. Your transformation builds one disciplined day at a time.